Well, okay. I guess Lorien is kinda right in his own way. I mean, the first time I looked at the City of Tears, the first thought I had was, wow, I can't believe bugs made all this, and I never really stopped thinking it. I mean, it's crazy how in every single window there's a room that was for a bug who did a thing there and had an entire life, and they were real people. There were hundreds of thousands of them, and at the same time, just one. If I look through one window, I can see like a whole sliver of an entire bug's existence, and all of them living so close together, walking down the streets, talking to each other, just whole people. And we live in this new kingless era where everything has been destroyed, but these buildings are still here. Most of those pieces of those bugs' lives are still here. They just have new, mostly dead occupants. So if Lorien was talking about the beauty of all of this, I mean, it's still here, but if he's talking about the people, well, the people who are alive still around here right now are beautiful in their own right, and I think they're worth saving. His whole thing was weird. I don't know. Maybe I just need to look out the window for a while. I'll stay here for a bit and then... Well, better get back to it. Alright, where's the next one?
Very eager. I assume you were able to break one seal.
Yeah.
Then there is something you must see.
Do we really have time?
Yes. One of the reasons I had you train your nail is so that you could transfer memories, so that I could share some with you. And we seers store memories for generations, and mostly only keep them to ourselves. But the times are desperate, and I've always been a bit radical. And I believe if you're going to wrestle with the Radiance, you might want a few memories of it first.
Yeah, actually, having a memory seeing the Radiance, that might be a really good idea. How many memories of the Radiance are left?
2. This is the first.
Okay. Yeah, how do we do this?
Hit me with the dream nail. You'll know it's working when you hear your father's voice.
Oh, he's there too. Yeah, should have figured. No time like the present, I guess. Let's just do it. Let's dive in.
And she hasn't moved. Not once for the past 3 days.
Not to my knowledge, no. I've been watching her the entire time, but the miners have said she stayed in the same place.
That's enough confirmation. She's at the edge of the cliff, yes?
Yes, my lord. And the camp you set up here has not been attacked, even through provocation.
She is a god. She is above all that. Follow me to her. Radiance, welcome to my kingdom.
It's hardly your kingdom, worm. It's a kingdom built off your wish for power. And hello to you, seer. Blessed be the future you walk.
It's my kingdom, though you may feel
And
that you would take...
potentially full of joy. A future awaits you full of glory. A bright future where the world is brightened. And where you
You're aware
stand
of
as
the
its
consequences
brighter.
of the past, and you're aware of what will happen if those consequences continue. These all lie at the foot of the man standing next to you. And if you kill him now, with the knife on your
What would
belt,
do with
those
ease the
problems will
suffering
have
of
their
all
solution.
others? How much bliss it would bring to them and you.
It is a difficult choice, but it is the best choice to make.
Moth!
Yes, my liege.
I have no more need for you. Go wait at the camp.
Yes, my liege.
So, is that your god out there?
Not anymore. My god is the same as yours. It is the Pale King.
No need to be coy. It is not my job to lock you up for believing in a different god. Not in this post, anyway.
And that doesn't change my answer. The moths, and yes, even the seers of Hollow Nest worship the king like the rest of you. It wasn't terribly hard to adapt, seeing as we merely tend graves, store ancient memories, and guide moths down whatever path might help them.
And so you guide them away from the Radiance and towards the Pale King, eh? I always wondered why the moths didn't hold to their old religion. Not most of them, anyway.
Well, those who claim to worship the Radiance don't really. She's merely a figurehead for their hate of the king.
That sounds like semantics to me.
It's not. To worship the Radiance is to make a spiritual connection to her in the dream. You put her in your mind and you join hers. You can hear her, ask her questions, know her. Same with the rest of the dream gods everywhere else. It's the seer's job to make that connection. But no one has connected with the Radiance since well before my time.
Glad I don't need to do that anymore. I would hate to have the Pale King in my head, blessed be. What does the Radiance want out here?
I have no idea. The miners found her. She didn't speak to them. Then they found me. She didn't speak to me, so I went to the king.
Good man. Knowing to delegate something to the higher-ups. But that's something happening out there, isn't it? Two gods chatting it up. You think we'd be able to understand what they're saying? You know, them being gods and all. They gotta have conversations about things that us mortal beings simply couldn't comprehend, right?
Gods are not enigmas. Their musing and thoughts, though potentially a little beyond our knowledge, are not beyond our understanding.
That might be heresy, but I'll let it pass this time. Especially seeing as you're a religious man and all.
I have an urgent message for the king.
King's busy. Leave it with me and I'll get it to him.
It requires urgent action. The rioters at Deepnest 2nd Tram Station have engaged the city guards.
That sounds like a problem that will sort itself out.
Not only are Deepnest's queens devout involved, they have support from the Mantises as well.
Well, of course they have the go-ahead of the Mantises. Those bastards are fine with anything they think will weaken Central Hollowness.
No, I mean the Mantises have sent troops to fight on the side of the rioters.
Moth, go get the king.
Sir, I
Move
don't...
it, Moth.
It doesn't matter in my mind because I do not see Hollownest as a group of unruly bugs that needs to be slotted into place. Hollownest is a set of ideals, a great bastion of light for the world, and I intend to see it shine.
My liege...
Looks like our time is up, Radiance. You have my answer. Be gone.
There is an urgent message.
I am aware.
My liege, the Mantises...
I am aware. Guard Captain, send reinforcements, the strongest men you can muster in body and mind. Go in with them, and make sure the bugs that are in the tram for its maiden voyage are escorted out safely. That is your top priority. This is to be a non-lethal dispersion, and the aggressors are to be arrested and jailed.
Yes, my liege.
Now I need you to understand the importance that this is to be a non-lethal engagement. If even one Deepnester or Mantis dies, whatever man killed them will go into the same grave. Along with you, Guard Captain, am I understood?
Yes, my liege.
Very good. Guards, move quickly to Deepnest. Moth, I have no more need for you. You are dismissed.
Yes, my liege.
Wow.
It's really something your first time going through, isn't it?
So, I have a question.
And I have an answer. I do not know what the Pale King and the Radiance discussed.
That was my second question, because I kinda assumed that would be the answer. My first was... what do you know about trams?
Well, not all that much, honestly.
Are you serious?
The tram disruptions happened when I was still training to become a seer, and far away from where I was taught. You might want to ask someone who is more personally involved, such as...
Yeah, okay, I'll go ask the Mantis Lords.
That's on the way to the next dreamer, too. Hera is in Deepnest. She was once the ruler of that realm.
Oh. Yeah, alright. That is kinda on the way.
And after that, in the Fog Canyon, make your way to Manamon.
Yeah, haven't really spent all that much time in either of those places.
And that's why you'll want to go through Deepnest first. It's the most dangerous of the two. Best to get it out of the way, I think. Good luck!
And the least she could do is, just tell me why she leads me on like that. Because it would be nice to know. Oh, hello.
Oh there, friend. Do you dare enter this lair of horrid monstrosities?
Deepnest?
Worse even, the Mantis Kingdom.
Horrid monstrosities?
Yes, these ungodly creatures are ripe with infection. Can't you smell it on them from here?
Well, okay, another long shot. Why are they, the mantises, I mean, infected?
They have not known the touch of God.
The Radiance, you mean?
Speak not of that moth superstition to me, boy. I mean the Pale King. His light of soul has not touched these creatures. I spent time speaking with them and learned of their ways, and they made me furious. How could they be so blind, not just to the soul within their own bodies, but to the very God who rules over their kingdom? I was furious, blinded by rage. But eventually that rage turned into righteousness, and I saw that fury was glorious. I called to cure the mantises of the infection, and if I must, I will do it by fire.
Ah, yeah. When you gave in to the infection, they killed you.
I am not just a preacher. I am a monk. They could not survive me. They would surely perish. Their arms are primitive, and their souls are weak.
Might as well have some fun. Ah, they have not killed you yet, but that's why I have come. I am the champion of the Mantis Queens, and I am here to take your life.
An assassin? Of course they would stoop to such lows. They wouldn't dare kill me themselves.
Given the circumstances of our meeting, sure, I don't think I'd upset anyone if I agreed with you.
Fine, then fight me. You will find no sympathy for your plight here, assassin. Consider the charity I've done for these people at an end.
Heh, well in that case, consider my charity started. That doesn't make much sense if I'm an assassin.
So you're not an assassin at all, are you? An anti-king radical? Then it will be my pleasure to annihilate you.
Yes! Thank you for saving my one-liner.
I haven't saved you from anything. You will feel the heft and might of my rings as I drop them upon you!
Unless I stand out of the way of them.
If you can stand out of the way of them.
Yeah, I guess so.
And when they hit you, you will feel the might of the king!
And when I hit you, Shit. And when I hit you, I hit with the light of the world without a king. Sorry, that was what I was going to say, but you died really quick.
And if that is the world you and your ilk would force on me, so be it. End my life. I die proud today.
Well, the last guy I killed said the very same thing, so I will give you the same reply.
And that is...
You're the boss. Here lies Elder Who. In his defense, he did, a few times, attack. Yeah, that was my experience with him too.
Hello again.
You here to ask for more forbidden knowledge?
Mostly passing through on the way to Deepnest, but yes? What can you tell me about the tram disruptions?
Ah, well that knowledge isn't terribly forbidden.
And you couldn't have asked better, Bugs. Riel in particular is very familiar with it, seeing as she spent much of her formative years in Deepnest during them.
Our brother wasn't the only diplomat in the family. Deepnest and the Mantis Kingdom had close ties even before the Pale King. So as one of the upcoming rulers, I spent a lot of my childhood there to get a better understanding of the place and people.
Being so physically close, it only made sense for us to be friendly, when neither of us are terribly expansionist due to the threats aimed at both of us.
That threat being Central Hollownest. And it hit Deepnest the hardest with the trams.
Wait, how did trams hit Deepnest? I mean, if you have a tram, isn't that just like a good thing that can get people from one place to another?
It should have been, and they said it was. And the question that keeps me up at night is, how much better could things have been if it was just a tram?
What happened can best be described as there being two versions of events. Deep nests and hollow nests.
Ostensibly, the trams were a way that hollow nesters could travel back and forth between points without a stag. It could carry multiple bugs and improve the economies of the sub-kingdoms that adopted them. An economy, at its simplest level, is just bugs going to do things for money, and that money and those things going somewhere else. So if you have a good way to get bugs and things to different places quickly, the whole machine just runs faster. And this, on its face, is of course, true.
That's what Deepnest and the Hive were sold. But then you have Tram Security, a team of guards from the City of Tears who would be present at the station or any outlying areas of a potential danger is suspected.
And what constitutes a potential danger is vague. And this vagueness is intentional.
But that isn't even the best part. Not only can a potential danger be whatever the fuck you want it to be, the area that's considered the station is also vague, so that could be whatever the fuck you want it to be too. It was an annexation. Hollownest really hates it when we call it that, but it was a fucking annexation.
I still hesitate to call it that, purely because saying it would have weakened our relationship to Hollownest. But in current times, I have very little to fear in that regard, so yes, it was an annexation.
I agree with Rial here. There was never shame in saying that. Even at the time, the ratio of guards to civilians riding the trams was 3-1. There simply isn't anything else to call it.
So, of course, eventually you had city guards patrolling through half of Deepnest, a group of people who saw Deepnesters as the bugs they needed to put in their place. And these guards had a penchant for killing grubs.
The most notable incident was memorialized as Broken Shell Day by Deepnesters. The guards killed 3 grubs. When the parents attacked the guards, they were also killed, and when the onlookers started throwing rocks, the guards killed 5 more.
And so, of course, when Deepnest retaliated and killed 1 city guard and injured a stag, Hollownest memorialized that as the Day of the Beast Bloodlust, a holiday all underlying kingdoms needed to recognize.
Including Deepnest.
So, I don't think I need to tell you that tensions were high. Then Hollownest started building a second tram line in Deepnest. This resulted in a revolt and my first time using my diplomatic knowledge to influence a policy decision. I convinced my parents to send Mantis warriors to fight alongside Deepnest. I was 12.
We mostly lost the battle, but that brought the king to the table to stop a full-on revolt. The concessions of the treaty was that the second tramway would immediately halt construction. However, neither we nor Deepnest were able to touch the first one built.
And we didn't. The Queen of Deepnest, however, zoned the outlying areas as centipede spawning grounds, rendering actually getting anywhere in Deepnest from the tram virtually impossible. If they could use vague legalese, so could we. Though I think the Hive had it right.
What did they do?
The moment one of their own was killed by a city guard, they locked off their kingdom, declared independence, and any city guards still in the Hive were registered as missing, presumed dead. The king did not retaliate because he'd already broken a critical rule of statecraft.
Don't fuck with the bees. Part of how we won our concessions is Mom and Pop told the king that we'd be able to get the bees to fight for us if we backed a full-on revolution. And you can't really be a god if all your followers are dead. But the centipedes worked pretty well too. Hell, I got to plant some of the eggs. Did it right behind Princess Hera. Princess at the time, I guess.
Yeah, she's who I need to find.
To break the seal, right?
Yeah.
I figured as much. I mean, we were really good friends before she went under. She sure as hell wasn't a stickler for the king, but there she went. I don't know why. But I do got a good idea of why you're doing what you're doing, and may some other god be with you.
Thanks, I'll send her your regards.
Tell her I've been thinking about her a lot more recently.
One more thing. In our nostalgia, we've neglected to give you a proper picture of how Deepnest is now. Hera is not the only beast you'll need to deal with.
Yes, when hard times hit, they rarely affect those responsible as those left behind, and Deepnest is no exception.
And I got a few friends in there still that send updates. There's a rumor of a beast running around, a real beast that's snatching up and killing whatever prey it can find in there. And it's gotta be one bad dude because Deepnest is full of the toughest sons of bitches you'll find anywhere, even still.
I'm a pretty tough son of a bitch myself.
Undeniably. But still, be careful.
Yeah, I'll try. Thanks again, you guys. Well, guess I'm going in the belly of the beast. About time.